When it comes to love and marriage, Huntsville, no name sparks as much debate as Arion Curry. Some fans want her on the show, others say she will never fit in, and many believe the cast members themselves, especially the Scotts, have a lot to lose if she ever gets a permanent seat. The question people keep asking is simple: why do the Scotts not want Arion on LAMH? The answer is not one-sided. It has to do with image, maturity, power, secrets, and what Arion represents in the bigger picture of the Huntsville franchise. Let's begin with how Arion is seen by many in the public. For years, people have dragged her across social media. Every time her name is mentioned, comments about her being Martell's mistress come up, and that stigma has followed her from the start. Fans often compare her to Melody, Martell's ex-wife, and say that she simply doesn't measure up. When people see pictures of Martell and Melody together, they see two people who matched in terms of ambition, look, and presence. But when those same people look at Martell and Arion, they see imbalance. Many describe it as looking like a father standing next to his daughter. That's not meant as a compliment, but rather as an observation that the pairing feels awkward and mismatched. This perception is important because reality TV thrives on image. It's not just about what happens in real life, it's about how that reality is presented to the audience. A couple that looks powerful together draws in viewers. A pairing that feels off makes the storyline harder to sell. This is why many believe producers have never seriously considered Arion as a main cast member. She doesn't project the kind of maturity or status that the show wants to highlight, especially compared to Melody, who has grown into a figure of independence, success, and resilience. Another layer to this is the issue of age and maturity. Many people have pointed out that Martell, like some older men, seems drawn to younger women not for who they are, but simply because of their youth. In those relationships, it isn't about intelligence, ambition, or achievements, it's about being younger, easier to control, and less challenging. Some people argue this is exactly why Martell is drawn to Arion. They believe he wants someone who makes him feel like he has the upper hand, unlike Melody, who challenged him, outgrew him, and ultimately left him. But while this dynamic may work privately, it doesn't translate well on television, where viewers expect to see balance and strength between partners. This brings us to the Scotts, Kimmy, Maurice, Marceau, and Tisha. On the surface, they could play neutral. After all, Arion's presence might not directly affect their marriages. But the truth is, she knows things. She has been around. She has seen and heard things that could blow up their carefully managed images. Fans remember the infamous Vegas picture of the men on a trip, which Arion was linked to. People still speculate about what she knows from those moments and what she could say if she were ever given a microphone on camera. That is the real danger. It's not about her being likable or even about her storyline with Martell, it's about what she could expose if she were allowed to sit at the same table as the others. For example, Kimmy once refused to call Arion a side chick. To many, this seemed like an attempt to play nice and avoid crossing her, because deep down the cast knew Arion carried sensitive information. At one point, the Scotts had tension with Melody, and some fans argue that if Arion had been brought in during that time, she could have easily aligned with them against Melody. But now that things have shifted, they have more to lose than to gain by bringing her on. Their marriages and reputations could be put at risk if she decided to talk too much. Beyond secrets, there is also the issue of image and brand. Love and Marriage, Huntsville is a show that started with a focus on real estate, power couples, and black excellence in business and relationships. Over time, it shifted into more personal drama, cheating scandals, and messy conflicts, largely because that's what Carlos King, the producer, believes makes good television. Still, the cast members know that the line between entertainment and destruction is thin. Bringing Arion onto the show would push the drama in a direction that could be impossible to control. She doesn't just represent a side storyline, she represents a direct threat to the foundation of the other couples. She is the reminder of cheating, betrayal, and broken homes. For the Scotts, especially Marceau and Maurice, whose own marriages have faced public scrutiny, the last thing they want is someone who could casually drop information that fuels rumors or confirms suspicions. There's also the fact that Arion has not done herself any favors with the network or producers. She has publicly spoken out against Oprah's network and the production when she didn't get her way. She has acted out on social media, sometimes crashing out emotionally and then trying to clean things up later. Reality TV producers may love drama, but they also need stability from their cast. A star who can't be managed or who constantly attacks the platform is seen as more of a liability than an asset. No matter how much Martell might push for her to appear, the producers and other cast members are unlikely to risk their reputations and storylines for someone who has already shown she can't play by the rules. Another layer to why the Scotts don't want her around is simple maturity. Many people say Arion doesn't carry herself like a woman in her 30s. She comes across as childish, petty, and toxic in her energy. Instead of focusing on her own growth, she often positions herself against Melody, monitoring her every move and comparing herself in ways that make her look bitter. Viewers pick up on this, and it doesn't translate well for reality TV longevity. Stars who last on reality shows know how to shift, rebrand, and grow with time. Arion has not shown that she can do that, and the Scotts know it. Some fans believe the Scotts would have embraced her at one point, especially when they were all against Melody. But now, the cost of aligning with her is too high. With Melody's success growing acting roles, music, and public support, the Scotts know that standing next to Arion would make them look worse. If she comes on the show, she doesn't just bring her relationship with Martell, she brings baggage, accusations, and the possibility of bringing down others with her. At the end of the day, the real reason the Scotts don't want Arion on Love and Marriage, Huntsville is not just one thing, it's many things layered together. It's the risk of exposure. It's the awkward image she presents with Martell. It's the lack of maturity she brings to the group. It's the danger of her speaking out on things that were never meant for the cameras. And it's the producers knowing she doesn't fit the long-term vision for the show. She might still try to appear in small ways, especially through Martell, but as a main star? The Scotts and the rest of the cast will make sure it never happens. For now, Arion remains on the outside looking in. And maybe that's where the Scotts want her to stay, because letting her in could mean opening doors that no one is prepared to walk through.